So against internet commenter advice, I decided to GC my own house, right? I think it came out pretty well, but check out the journey, learn how to build a house yourself, and don't be too afraid to try something you're uncomfortable with. Hey guys, back from Miami. I took a full week down there. So 7 nights later, we're now looking at this. And the second floor went up. I've had a GoPro running. I had my brother-in-law drop it off over here on the property. Who knows what that'll end up looking like. But I also have my security camera footage, which will give me a pretty decent time lapse. Let me run you through the house here as I'm slopping through. It's 50 degrees here in New York and February 28th, so not bad at all. But let me get up into the house and show you where we're at and what effectively has changed. So we have now the ceilings on the first floor, which will give you some decent context as to what we're looking at now. Remember, it's 9-foot ceilings downstairs and then 8-foot ceilings on the upstairs. But even, I mean, when you remove the bracing, it'll give you more of a view or a context of scale. But I'm happy with the way this all shapes out down here now. It feels like a nice big open space, which is what I wanted. This is going to be a big open door archway here. It'll go right over to the kitchen, which will be over there, the little breakfast nook, and then you have the outdoor area there with a big 4-pane sliding glass door. As you walk back through here, through the kitchen, this is all starting to make sense now. You got the pantry, butler's pantry, and then you see there's going to be the little awning here over the window here from the sink. Ideally looking at a nice garage one day, but right now, that's what we got. And then I'll just step right through here, over the bracing, and into the dining room. I don't know why in my head the dining room was longer than front to back than side to side, but I was wrong. But it doesn't matter, we can have the table sideways here. And then this sort of seamlessly works through the door here to the, well, I feel like it's one room, but to the outdoor eating area or just the outdoor lounge area in the front. And one of the things that they brought up while we were going was the height of the piers. Everything is like exact, because when you're framing stuff, you stack 2 of those, it equals 3 inches. So you're factoring in all of these things as far as height. They were like, well, we got a big problem. These concrete piers are 4 inches too tall. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Or 3 inches too tall. And I wanted the front floor here to be flush. And apparently most people don't do that. Most people want to walk in and they want their front door to be like up a couple of inches, because they all do the same thing. They walk in, they do a little, and then they step into the front door. I don't need that. I wanted it to be flush. It feels like more of a fluid space when it's not flush. There's never going to be any water concerns. There's not going to be water coming under the door or anything like that. So I just didn't see a reason for that. Let's go upstairs. Obviously the basement is still unfinished. We just got to get the plumber down there to do the below slab plumbing work, like the ejector pump and everything like that for the toilet. And once that's done, we can then pour the basement. This landing, these are sort of to scale, these steps. Obviously these are not going to be my steps, but they are to scale as far as what it's going to be like. Here you see this entire center section is going to be open. I think it's maybe a better view from up here down than it is from down up. I don't know. We got to see when we finish it. But there'll be like a chandelier or something hanging from there, if that works. The only question I have if I have a chandelier hanging, it may require creative. Usually a chandelier would be right here hanging over, but then legitimately like, it'd be like bam, right in your face right here, because it's not symmetrical. Let's start in the, you know what, let's come back to the master. Let's start in my kids' rooms. Here's my daughter's room. Got the 2 closets, one on each side, and then like the window seat over there. And her room right next to the bathroom here, which will be the toilet. This is going to be along like a shower in there. Let's work our way. This is the only like sort of dead common area up here. Goes to my son's room here, which is 2 closets, a couple of windows. Not bad. As I said, 8-foot ceilings up here versus the 9-foot ceilings downstairs. This is the laundry room. It's nice to have the laundry room on the upper floors, because having the laundry room up here makes life much easier, so you don't have to lug the laundry up and down flights of steps. I'll get to this in a second. This is going to be the guest bathroom, or the second bathroom. Guest bedroom over here. 2 closets. I'm going to bring you into the master suite now. This is just a quick walkthrough as they're finishing up, and we're about to do the most intricate part, which is going up to the ceiling, going up to the roofing. This is the concern that the framers pointed out, that this is 36 inches wide. This doesn't measure the full 36. It measures 30, which to me, I don't really care, but they seem to think like, what are you doing? But I'm building this for me. This here, this is our closet. So this is the master closet. It's about the size of some of the bedrooms almost. Master bedroom here with the bed in the center and everything. This over here is going to be a sitting room with some windows. Very cool. This is going to be a see-through fireplace on both sides. And then the TV will be above the fireplace. I didn't realize there was going to be this much bracing here. I was going to actually bring the fireplace to the edge and do like a 3-sided fireplace, like a peninsula fireplace. Doesn't really matter. That's all nonsense anyway. And then this is going to be the master bathroom, which also is similar to the size of a bedroom and almost the size of a closet. We'll have a giant soaking tub right here next to the window. So if you live here in the trees, you get a nice view. And then you have that'll be the big built-in. Here's going to be the shower. And here is going to be the baño. So we'll watch them go up with this. As I said, here's the guest bedroom. The framing for the roof is going to be happening now. And we're tackling any little things as they come up, but it's really been pretty seamless so far. There's always going to be stuff that comes up that's the plans are conflicting or something like that, but so far it's been pretty smooth. So stay tuned. As we get the roof up and we go a little bit further, I will share it with you and we'll see how it goes. So framing, pretty fun, a little slower. I thought they were going to be done in about 14 days. We're on day like 15 of framing right now. So it'll be slightly longer than that, but we are making good progress. And the weather's holding up lovely, fantastically. Now, if there was one part of framing that I would say confuses me, or not confuses me, but would be difficult for me to model out myself, it's the roof. We're taking lumber this long in the back primarily, and then cutting everything to match. Now they've been cutting a bunch of them, and you'll see the templates over here. Everything is starting out as just a fresh piece of wood. Those are some scraps over there. That's probably the one template that they've been using. They cut it and then they make sure all the other ones are exact. And that allows it to sit up in the cradle. up there, if that makes sense. It sits on the edge. And they cut a bunch of them, depending on the size that they need to come from the ridge line down. And then you get something that looks like this. And then when you put those all together, you get a roof. So let's go take a look. While we're up here, I should put my hard hat on, because I've heard lots of wood dropping, like stuff like that. It's stuff that you don't really see, that makes the framing a little bit more difficult. Like this angle here. These metal over the top hangers for the beams, see there? Those are like 130 bucks a piece. I needed 2 of those. So there's one over here. And you have that angle. And it's nice to be able to see this while it's open, because you can see everything that goes into this. And you can see these are all sandwiched together. I mean, that's holding a good portion of structural load. And it also ended up presenting a problem, which is why we had to sort of shuffle the bathroom upstairs, because the toilet, and you see they popped 2 nails through the floor. Where'd they go? Right there. See the nails sticking out. Oh no, I'm sorry, right here. The nails sticking out show where the toilet drain or the toilet was going to go. And the problem with that is you can't put a toilet there because you got that beam, and you can't put the shitter tube through the beam. So that's why we had to rejigger upstairs a little bit. But all stuff, just a little bit of foresight, because you look at the plans and you're like, oh yeah, just put a toilet there. But when you actually put it into practice, it doesn't quite work. These guys are so boss. I do want to take a photo standing on my roof at some point in time. I think I'm going to try that. I'm not going to be able to sort of climb up there like they do, but I'll get a sequence of ladders and get up there. Let me see if I can get a good line here. There you go. You can see what these all look like when you set them down. Now, if you look at all the different ridge lines and angles in this roof, you've got one running, there's 2 main ones, and you'll see the one running across the whole house. You have the one going from front to back here. It starts there, runs all the way to the front, and then you have another one connecting there, zipping straight across. Let me Casper through here. The pitch of the roof as far as snow accumulating, runoff, roofing materials, all of that stuff comes into play. But the lightest pitch is we have a valley over here. And you'll see these long boards going from the ridge line all the way down here. See? There. All the way down here. There's not much of a roof here above the laundry room. So, but we'll let them wrap up here for today. We'll get back as we finish the roof tomorrow. All very interesting, very fun stuff. And then we'll start getting the windows on order. The windows should have been ordered by now. I just, because windows are not cheap, I'm just checking everything that it all lines up. Because like even right now, we don't have a window in here in the laundry room, and we didn't put a window here yet until we figure out where the layouts are going to be. Because if the layout was going to put like a washing machine or a shower in front of where the window would be, then we're just going to nuke the window off the plan. All right, we're 18 days into framing, 18 working days into framing here. And we're just about done. I'd say a day and a half left. So we'll be done by the end of the week. Today's Wednesday. And you'll see as we started getting to the end here, things started to get slightly more intricate. It's just the design elements and the features on the house take a little bit longer to cut than doing the straight stuff. Now I said prior that I'm slightly, say stumped by the roofing and the architecture of the roofing. Once you start to get the feel for it, it starts to make sense. And you're always going to need your ridge line, which is at the top. And once you establish the ridge line, everything else works off of that. Now, if you think of a normal house, it's just like a V. It's normal roof line is like that. It's just V's at the top. And then you got shingles come down, shingles come down. This is the same sort of thing. It just gets a little bit more elaborate when you add different things. Like this is the first roof here. This is over the porch. And you'll see how that just connects the ridge line effectively as the front of the house. Here you can see the ridge line is the highest point there. And everything else works off of that. And then you sort of have to build up from there. And you'll see different size pieces, different angles, and that's where it starts to get a little bit more intricate. And everything branches off. That connects it to the house. And then you have the other pieces that connect, and then you fill in the middle. But all very cool. It's nice watching it come together. Over here, and we're going to start plywooding the house soon, but over here there's a little bit of plywood on the roof already. This is for where the chimney is going to be. So let me stand in the chimney. Well, you can't see it, but to prevent the water from running down and sort of pooling or collecting, we had to make a little bit of a V up there. So you're pushing the water away, so it rides down the roof and then sort of goes around the chimney so it doesn't pool up there. As you can see in here, we've got nothing that I would consider super tall as far as an attic, which I don't care about an attic. But this is going to be the bedroom. The bedroom ceiling's in here, looking pretty good. But as I love getting the sunset view every day, that'll be great. But as you can see, a lot of detail goes into the roof work, and that made it take, not that it took longer, but it made it seem like it slowed the process down a little bit. But these are the things that make the house unique. At this point in time, easier than I thought. I'm going to say this process is not as intimidating or painful as I initially thought, but it also, like, estimates sort of go out the window. The wood, for example, was a little over $66,000, and they're not done here. They got to finish this corner, but the wood's a little over 66 grand, and we're budgeting, well, not budgeting, but we initially thought 70. We did the actuals, came in at the takeoffs were all like 45 to 50, and it came in pretty damn near 70, and that was more than I was expecting. So there's always those little surprises, but such is life. Stay tuned. See you tomorrow. We'll be back. All right, we're on site. 1 or 2 more days to wrap this process, but if there's a time to make changes, it's during framing, which, as you can see here, and I think you're going to be blinded by the light. Let's see if we can dip in a little closer. There you go. We're changing the height of the windows. The plans have them. They look a little too high, so we're dropping them by like 2 of the pieces of wood. We're switching them to the top to center a little bit more. Framing is when you sort of look at everything. Nothing is irreversible, because if you think about it, you can completely renovate a house and then start over. But we do notice stuff that requires changes. The plans are a little inconsistent with like these posts And then the columns that they called for, the one sheet had 14 columns, the other one had 12 columns. Now these make sense. I like when these are finished, there's going to be posts above the columns. And then we came over here and like we had to build that up because there was, this is supposed to, and it's just not linear. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of those two posts, and then that post in the back. And we're going to make it just the one half rail here, and then just keep the outside post. It'll open it up a little bit. There you can see the change in the windows to make them more uniform. I love the roof in here. It looked really cool before they put the plywood on top, obviously. The plywood, but some of the cool framing that the house got is these unique ceilings. Some other places that we got to identify is we were talking about where to put the fireplace, and the plans didn't match what I saw in my head, which in my head this was a 3-sided fireplace, and on the plans it turned into a 2-sided fireplace. And then I look and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a 2-sided fireplace in the plans. But we then said, you know what, let's put the 3-sided in, and we started putting the rough measurements here where we're going to cut to put the fireplace in, and we're going to take this, and this out. That we're going to leave there. This was just sort of there to sort of frame a doorway or just to separate the rooms. Not really necessary. We were going to go straight across with this wall, but then we realized that this header's sitting on this, so I was going to leave it there. It doesn't really matter. Now you fast forward to over here. We can get rid of these 3 because they don't do anything. They're not supporting anything. And then this, we're going to put a header above this so we can have this 3-sided fireplace. And then when you're doing that, you have to realize that that fireplace is going to be visible from the whole thing. I think it opens up the space, but it also, we have to put the TV above it. So then we had to measure the TV, and we're like, well, if the fireplace came up to here, where's the TV going to be? So then now the fireplace is going to come up to here. It's going to start a foot off the ground. The visible will probably be from here to here, but then I could put a nice, let's just say 50-inch TV up there. I think we measured for a 55-inch TV, but whatever it is. Above that, you can see the ceilings, the dormers, and everything like that. Everything. There's a lot of work goes into this. That's why it takes 20 some odd days, but it is very cool. And this is going to be, obviously there's going to be a wall right here, but this is the master bedroom where I'm going to spend a lot of time. Now this, they've got obviously they're putting the plywood on the outside, but these get cut out. This is a window frame, but you start to see what this looks like as it gets finished. Now watching them cut these angles and everything like that, very cool. Now you'll look, there's supposed to be the gaps in these roof lines. That gets covered up by the roofing, which happens next week. We've got my giant pile of wood over there, which I'm waiting till we're done, then I'll just get one dumpster in here. I'll see if anyone wants free wood, like the guy who stole stuff. And then anyone who wants it can have it. The rest will go bye-bye. We ended up cutting the windows out here. This will need a new piece of wood there, but we'll frame these 2 windows out. So we have them. We have a window in here. And a window in here. But everything's coming along. There's your window. Now there's your window. Lots of nails. They just sent me like, we need more nails. And I'm like, well, how's 10 10,000 enough? The house is almost up and I just got another 10,000 nails. I can't even imagine how many nails are actually in this property. Now that the framing is primarily done, you have to make sure everything's anchored. You want to make sure that you remember the anchor bolts we used right here to anchor the floor to the foundation. Then you have to anchor the first floor to the second floor. And then when you get up top, you're going to make sure that you anchor the roof to the second floor. And this allows, and you'll see the hurricane ties, this allows for it to tie the structure together as one solid unit. It resists high winds, it resists a lot of stuff. Some giant bolts. But these are hurricane ties, which you have the roof, which is obviously notched. And then you have this for the fascia, so secures to that, goes up to the top. And then this is now tying, oh it is, if you look. It's just a little tie. Nails together, and that allows the roof not only to weight everything down, the weight of the roof helps keep everything together, but that helps tornadoes or hurricanes, the roof from lifting and weakening the structure. So once this is all done, and you'll see it done all around the house, it's able to tie the entire place into one secure structure, which is important because you don't want your house to fall over. We'll get the roofers in here tomorrow, but they'll finish sheathing the outside of the house with the plywood. These gaps are normal. This way the wood can expand and contract. But we have the window openings. The windows are the next things to be installed, because once we wrap the house, it'll be just like a Tyvek, like a plastic wrap. The roof will go on, the windows and doors will go in, and then it's considered dried in because it will be protected from the elements. And we can go to town getting the interior done. But we can use a lot of this bracing wood. We'll be able to use, obviously they pulled it down, we'll be able to use it for the rest of the house. But a lot of detail. I'm happy with how the framing came out. There was a lot of detail in the framing that I think is worth noting. The guys did a pretty bang-up job. The roof is not easy, and you can see how they've got everything framed up in all the different angles, all the different cuts. It made for quite the challenging process. But I think it looks spectacular. Okay, a gorgeous 70-degree day in March, which we generally don't get 70-degree days in March, but I feel like we're turning the corner to the spring. However, we lost out today. The framing guy's truck broke, and that prevented them from getting on site and finishing sheathing the house. But it doesn't stop me from making progress. I've got the roofing materials here. The roofing guys will be here tomorrow working as the framers finish the sheathing, and then go through like a final walkthrough and a final checklist for everything that they have to do before the framers come back, finish framing the basement, and finish framing the windows, or installing the windows and doors. Once that's done, will be considered dried in. Here you're looking at about $8,000 in roofing material. I went with a dark charcoal Timberline HDZ, which is a nice shingle, but nice and thick. Lifetime warranty, can't really complain about that. It's an architectural shingle, which is a little bit thicker, more of a nicer thing to look at. The budget I had for the roof was $20,000, just my sort of spitball numbers, and luckily, fast forward, I'm going to be into it for about $12,000 or $12,500. Tomorrow we're going to have 2 crews on site. Both the framers are going to be here. As I said, they'll be finishing up with what they're working on and sheathing the rest of the house. Right now we have half the house sheathed. The other half is still open. Like the window openings have to be cut out there. You can see there's a good amount of stuff to still do, like obviously. The sides and the back have not been completed yet. But it'll be nice to get everything done at the same time. It's good when you can have multiple subcontractors on site at the same time. This framing, which was pretty intricate, took, it will be 22 total working days. And that includes half days and whatnot, but 22 working days that they were here to take this from foundation and hole to completed roof and ready for that. So that's probably one of the most complicated processes of the entire thing. So if you look at the most complicated process of the entire thing and say it's 22 days, you can do the math. It doesn't take 3 years to build a house. But who knows what'll happen. I will see you guys tomorrow and we will continue this